You join me at a tremendously exciting moment. It's Into Your Head, number 789. We've a lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. Oh, topics. We've got lots and lots of topics. We're positively booming to the seams with topics. We've got topics coming out of this cotton bud. Which I've just used. I've just used it several times. I used both ends, but it's at the point where, one end is still coming out clean, or apparently clean. I'm sure there's all sorts of filth and disgust buried within it, so I won't offer it to anyone else to use. Just because it's still white doesn't mean it's clean. White doesn't mean clean. That's a very racist attitude to take if you think that. If you look at your cotton bud and you take it out of your ear and you say, oh look, it's still white, that means it's clean because white is clean, that means you're a racist. Unless of course you're using a different colour cotton bud. You might for example be using a brown cotton bud and it comes out white. Then you think, oh Christ, my ear is filthy. Well then, whether you're racist or not depends on what colour you are, I suppose, if that's the case, and what your conclusions are therefrom. But let's not get bogged down in all this theory. Let's put this particular cotton bud away back where I got it, because I lied about this particular cotton bud. I haven't used it at all. I used one a moment ago, but I've already put it in the bin, so I just reached for this clean one as a discussion piece to start the program. I probably ruined the magic of the theatre of the mind there by telling you that, but no, that wasn't really holding a frigging used ear bud there while I was talking about that. But the one I was thinking of was not too far from me. It's here in this plastic bin bag that I have hanging behind the window here, not 3 feet from my face from which I record this. So it's not that far away really. So the used one that I was pretending to hold isn't too far away. You know that. If it gives you any solace in your misery as you learn that everything you know is a lie. Everything you know is a lie, including some stupid fucking podcast you've been waiting weeks for to come back with another episode, and the first thing he does is lie to your face. He lies to your very face. He lies straight into your ears. You should be glad I'm lying straight into your ears here. Do you want me to lie? If I'm going to talk into your ears, do you want me to be holding a clean earbud, or do you want me to be using a dirty one? If I were you, I'd rather be using a clean one. Maybe it's dirty after I lie to you, but still. I don't know. Anyway, hello, and welcome to the show.
Into Your Head.
Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, I distinctly heard him opening a bottle of dark stimulation drink during the previous segment, but I didn't hear him taking a sip. He didn't take a sip at all. I never said I did. I'm going to take a sip now, I can tell you though. You happy now? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I probably won't sleep now, thanks to that. I won't sleep tonight, and then I'll have to get up in the morning having not slept, and then I'll have to sit around all day doing stuff, and then I have to go to bed tomorrow night banjaxed, except I have to stay up late tomorrow night. Well, I don't have to, I intend to though. So I'll be even more banjaxed thanks to that one little sip of energy drink that you just out of habit decided I have to drink just because I've done it before, and just because you hear me opening a bottle and your OCD brain thinks, he didn't take a sip of that. I'm going to call him up on that. I'm going to call him out. That's what you young people do. You call people out and say, hello you, I'm calling you out on the following issue. You did something and then you didn't do something else, and as a result you're either uncool or a hypocrite hypocrite, or wrong, or incorrect, or too correct, or you're too something or not something enough, or you're not, you're basically just wrong. You're not in line with the correct levels of thinking, or levels of whatever us young people expect you to be of today. You use too much punctuation in your sentences. You don't slobber enough when you're eating. You don't drink your Dart stimulation energy drink every time you take the lid off the bottle just because you're busy talking. No. You see this on the television all the time. It's perfectly natural. People lift up a glass of water, but they're in the middle of saying something interesting, so they end up putting the glass down because they don't find a moment to take a sip. It's perfectly natural, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's a sign that I'm talking. It's just a sign that I'm talking, and I don't want to interrupt myself by pouring stuff down my gullet. I don't need it anyway if I'm already talking. The only reason I drink the energy drink is to make me talk, and I'm already talking, so if I interrupt my talking to take a sip of energy drink, I suppose it helps. It may help future talking. If I'm already talking, shouldn't take a sip of energy drink until I run out of things to say. So that's all I have to say about that, apparently. That's all I have to say about that. I think I'm getting a bit bored of this whole podcasting thing, if you don't mind me saying so. I'm trying not to kill it off. I'm trying to keep it going, but just... I don't know. I seem to feel less and less interested in doing it. There's a bit of honesty for you. Is that okay? Do you mind that I'm honest about what I'm doing here? I'm losing interest in doing this. I'm losing the will to sit here talking crap. The same old crap that I've been talking about for nearly 10 years now. I'm running out of steam. Not going to give her up though. No. I'm just going to keep flogging a dead horse. Two dead horses walk into a bar. One of the dead horses goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of your finest Guinness, please?" And the man behind the bar says, "No, you most certainly cannot. You cannot, because I was reading an article yesterday about how Guinness has some sort of fish ingredient in it that they're planning to remove next year." But at the moment, no, it has some sort of fish-related ingredient in it, and horses don't eat fish. That's a myth. It's not even a myth. There's no myth. Nobody thinks horses eat fishes. People think cats eat fishes, or they think cats do eat fishes, but they don't like them. It's a myth that cats like fish. They don't like fish at all. Fish was only started putting into cat food during the Second World War or the First World War. I forget which. One point when they ran out of protein stuff to put in the cat food, they started putting fish stuff in. So don't give me that crap. It's pretty much the same with horses, except that nobody thinks that. Nobody is under any illusion that horses like fish. But if they were, it would be a myth. It would be a myth. A myth bigger than Hitler, bigger than Jesus Christ, bigger than the Beatles, a myth bigger than anything you've ever seen before. In fact, it's even a bigger myth as it is, because it's not even a myth, as you've just established. I was confusing the horse myth with the cat myth, so it's not even a myth at all. So the fact that I'd even bring it up just shows how powerful a myth it is. It doesn't even exist as a myth, and yet I found the need to bring it up. That's one hell of a myth, I can tell you. That's a super myth. A super myth. I'll write that down in the topics listings. A super myth. On a minute now. Let's have a look at this. Where's my the other window. I have to open the other window. Super myths. Here we go. That's another topic for you now. Super myths. Earwax teether, I suppose, or something like that. Super myths. Earwax teether. Was that the one I said? Earwax. Oh, excuse me. I beg your pardon. Did I belch? Did I let out a bit of air out of that wasn't from my digestive system. That was wind coming directly out of my soul. That was my soul letting out one last gasp as it tries to squeeze another podcast out after fucking years of doing this crap. Absolutely no interest in it whatsoever. Maybe I'll regain interest at some point, but we'll keep it up till then. We'll keep up the pretense that I actually enjoy doing this still. Although, to be perfectly honest, I'm enjoying this at the moment. I just don't seem to be able to do it as much. I don't know. It's not like I'm busy or anything. It's not like I've just taken up a position as the new host of the Daily Show. I have not. If I have, I'm fucking glad I didn't. Your man Trevor Noah yesterday, he had an emergency appendectomy, and they said, we're giving him the day off. He'll be back tomorrow. Apparently, you Americans, if you have emergency surgery, they give you 1 day off, and you have to come back the next morning. Fucking slave drivers. I thought you abolished slave driving over there some time ago. While the rest of us were all running out of potatoes and having famines, you people were sorting out your slavery problems and figuring out that you're not supposed to have slaves. I suppose we all have our developmental problems. We had an Easter egg rising over here around that time too. Well, 50 years after that. When did you abolish slavery? I don't know. I assume it was in the 1800s. That's when we had our potato famine. And then in the early 1900s we had an Easter rising. They just brought out a chocolate bar, a commemorative chocolate bar today with our Declaration of Independence or something on it to celebrate the centenary or something. Absolutely fucking fantastic. That's like something one of you foreigners would do. You go around with your 10 and your what's his face Captain America hats with the fella saying your country needs you, and you have a picture of a fella in a top hat with a white beard. He looks a bit like your man off the KFC thing, except he's saying, your country needs you. And what's that fella called? What's that character that you Americans put on everything called? It's supposed to represent America. I don't know. I don't really care. Well, I do care now that I think about it. I care more about this stuff than I seem to think I do. I do. I actually do. I'm not sick of this shit at all. I'm fucking fine with it. Oh, now that's interesting. You may have noticed that I took a break there. I didn't. No time passed for you. Time passed for me. Several minutes passed for me, during which time I was paying my domestic bin charges for this month a day later than planned, because I had to get a new PIN number. I had to get them to send me a PIN number so I could have the privilege of registering to their new website, so I could have the privilege of making a payment, so I can pay people to come and take away my waste, my so-called waste. I don't call it waste at all. If it was waste, I could just put it into the ground here and it would disappear. If it was a proper waste. You see, I'm no scientist, admittedly, but I know that if it was proper waste, it wouldn't conform to the thing where no energy ever gets destroyed, it just gets converted. Isn't that a science thing? I think it is. I think there's a physics thing where no energy ever gets destroyed, it just gets converted into something else. So if you throw out some rubbish and it's really rubbish, it's really waste, then it should just disappear because it's not worth anything. But no, it gets converted into rubbish apparently, and it fills up a rubbish tip somewhere, which means that's in breach of the laws of physics as I understand them. Admittedly, I'm a layman in that area. I'm not a scientist. I studied the science curriculum in school up until the age of 15, the general science curriculum, and then I spent a couple of years studying chemistry, which I failed, but I did get a grade E, which is between 25% and 39%, which I was particularly proud of because I didn't do a top of work for it, yet I somehow got at least 25% 25% of the marks. It was absolutely fucking fantastic. I bullshitted my way through the Leaving Cert school chemistry exam. I managed to get at least 25%, possibly anything up to 39%. I can't remember. No, it was probably... No, that's not right. I would have got... At that time, they had already done the new thing where they tell you is it a D1 or a D2 or a D3. So I would have known to the nearest 5% what percentage I got. So it was probably a D3, which would be 25% to 30% or thereabouts. Well, it's nothing to be sniffed at. Nothing to be sniffed at. And the school I went to, the chemistry laboratory had previously burnt down a decade or two prior to my attendance there. But they had apparently built it up again. They never said... they told us all the story about how the chemistry lab had once burnt down, but they never told us the story of it being rebuilt. But I just assumed, since we were sitting there in the chemistry lab when they were telling us about it, I just assumed they rebuilt it at some point, or else it just reappeared. I don't know. Maybe it just maybe chemistry labs just reappear because they're all just made up of chemistry labs are all just made up of I suppose the basic elements of the universe. You can't just destroy them by having a fire, so when you burn them they reappear. It's probably should check that. It's a good place to check that would be with an insurance company. Ask, do you insure chemistry labs in schools, or do you just consider there to be no need to do so because there's no cost to reinstating them? I don't know. That's a good question, though, isn't it? I think it's a good question, and it's all because I was paying my domestic waste collection bill. The bins are due to be collected tomorrow. I don't have a bin tag for this month yet, but I understand they give you 10 days leeway. So, despite the fact that it's already November, when the people come along tomorrow and they see the sticker on my bin says paid up to October, they'll still say, oh, he's got till the 10th to sort that out. We'll give him a bit of leeway, seeing as how we're getting the money anyway. We might as well treat him like a human being, treat him like a customer and or a human being, whichever suits us the most. And we'll take this wheelie bin full of crap, put it up on the thing, and then it'll go merp, 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 or whatever the noise makes that you put on the back of the lorry. You put the wheelie bin on the back of the lorry, and it basically lifts it up. It's like an elevator. It elevates the bin up to a certain height, and then it basically tips it over and empties the contents into the lorry, and then it tips it back, and then it tips it forward again another couple of times just to be sure, because the lorry doesn't have any intelligence. These machines don't have intelligence. It's all just a program. So despite the fact that the bin may already be empty, it tips it forward and back a couple of more times just to be sure. Although it's never sure. The lorry has no way of knowing after the third time whether the bin is being successfully emptied or not. In fact, quite often I'll come out and I'll find a bit of rubbish left at the bottom of it that's stuck to the moist base of the floor of the bin. Usually what I do is get it out. I dig it out I get my outdoor sweeping brush, which I keep behind the side gate, and I get it and I scrape up whatever's at the bottom of the bin, and I tip it out and I put it into next week's bin, because we have alternating weeks. If it's recycling week this week, then next week is general waste week, so if there's something left at the bottom of the recycling bin after they empty it, I scrape that up and I put it in the general waste bin for next week, and I feel no guilt about that whatsoever, I can tell you. I've probably made an admission now that could cause me to be slammed into the Mountjoy jail or the Portlaoise jail, wherever they put you when you're arrested. Where did they put you when you're convicted of something in this part of the country? I don't know. There is a prison in the next county, and there's a prison up in Dublin. I don't know where our local is, just as I don't know if I were to break my leg right now this minute, I don't know which hospital I'm supposed to go to. I suppose the ambulance will probably know, but if I were to break my leg now and just decide to go and get a bus to the hospital. For one thing, I'd have difficulty because there's Portlaoise Hospital, there's no bus from here to there, and then there's Naas Hospital, there's only one bus from there to here now, and it's in the morning. And then I wouldn't know which one to go to. I'd probably have to get the train now that I think about it. If I broke my leg, I'd have to get the train. And the train, I can tell you, it's about 24 minutes walk from here on a good day. And that's when you don't have a broken leg. If you have a broken leg, then I can tell you it's probably a lot more. I suppose I could get a taxi. I could call up a taxi and say, hello, can you bring me from my house to the train station? And would you mind carrying me into the train? And then have your friend, who's presumably a taxi driver somewhere else in the place where the hospital is, have them collect me at the other end and bring me into the hospital. I suppose this is why they have ambulances, and also why I have a wife who can drive, now that I think about it. Anyway, good morning.